So today wanted I just wanted to talk about what I've come to realize in my experience is what is my main roadblock to recovery. What, like, we hear this, I'm blocked from God. What I've come to understand is that I can't actually block myself from God. That is my solution. The solution is God to all of my problems. All of my problems are of my own making. We see in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, I'm going to use the big book today quite a bit. At the end of page 103, working with others, it says, after all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only symbols. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. And so what gets in the way of God is like, I can't put the blocks there myself. I don't even have the power to do that. But really, what is my roadblock? So this is really one of the things that I've seen in recovery in my own life, and I can make that present today because this is a daily connection that we have. I don't know if you've had a cell phone or a laptop, but I have to plug mine in every night to recharge. And so it's the same as my spiritual my spiritual condition. I actually have to plug it in to actually recharge and have power. Otherwise, I'm being into self-power. So really, what gets in the way of people's recovery? What are roadblocks to recovery? And I think what I've seen in my own experience is the biggest roadblock is dishonesty. And so I kind of want to walk through what dishonesty is, and it comes up pretty early in page 72 of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'll just read that, and then we can talk about what dishonesty looks like, because I truly believe that everybody can recover. And I know that I can remain sober, but can I recover from a seamlessly hopeless state of mind and body? Can I actually get the promises of what a recovered life looks like? So I'm just going to read what it says in my book on page 72. This is perhaps difficult, especially discussing our defects with another person. So this is where we've actually taken inventory. We've looked at the shelves of our heart. Your heart only has so much capacity, and a lifetime of stuff have put stuff on this shelf. So all the stuff on our shelves are actually to be given away. And this is just how we're designed, is whatever's in here, we give away. And so it's the same thing with the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God comes in here to give that away, and I'm filled more and more and more. And so when I have this stuff on the store shelves of my heart, I only have so much capacity. And so let's say I have, some Chef Boyardee from, 1971 or 73, or, even let's go up a decade, in 1983. I don't know if you've eaten Chef Boyardee out of a can that's expired, but there's this metal taste to it. And it's like, it's repulsive, and it's probably not really good for you. I remember finding, my mom always bought caramels, and they come in a pack of 2, and they're like treats from the angels. They have like an angel food cake, and then they have a circle of caramel surrounded by chocolate with a little marshmallow halo. Like, they're beautiful. And I remember coming home from school one day, and that was like my little go-to snack, a little cup of milk and the caramel. And so I come home from school, open the cupboard, and to my dismay, the caramels are gone. And I kind of rooted around, and I found a pack of caramel, like a package. It must have fallen down. And so I just opened it up and started eating it, but it tasted like formaldehyde. And I'm like, I have no clue how long it's been there, but I was like, this is how sick I am. I'm like, I can't wait for my brother. I'm going to share this with him. So I like threw out the rest, spit out the other stuff without gagging. And I waited for him to get home from school. And I said, hey, bro, I just saved you. I saved you a caramel. It's your lucky day. And I just waited for him to eat the same thing. And it's like this horrible formaldehyde taste. And this is what's in my heart. And I only have so much capacity. And so this is what we're talking about, is I need to put this on paper, on inventory, and offer that up to God and with another person. We think that we have done enough in admitting these things to ourselves. There is doubt about that. In actual practice, we unusually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. I am not good at marking my own paper. I cheat. I'm in the delusion that I'm a lot smarter than I actually am, and I need to be seen like that. I need the teacher to see how great I am, so I overmark my test. I don't know if you remember that, where you had to trade papers with your neighbor, and you got to mark your neighbors. Sometimes they let us mark our own. I was horrible that I cheated because I wasn't very smart. I didn't do very well on tests, and I needed for you to see me that I was a lot smarter than I looked. So I'm not good at this self-appraisal. Many of us thought it necessary to go much further. We will be reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see good reason why we should do so. The best reason first. If we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. So here's a death threat. Like, here's a suggestion, and this is what they say, that a lot of people say this is a suggestive book, which it is. This is a suggestion with a death threat. If you skip this vital step, so they're talking about your vital signs. You know, when you check for a heartbeat, really we come into this program dead, spiritually dead, emotionally dead, and this is all about giving us a new vital life. And so let's check our vitals. Do we have any vitals? If we skip this, we may not overcome drinking. You may not overcome drinking if you skip telling somebody everything in your inventory. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. Trying to avoid this humbling experience, we have turned to easier methods. Almost invariably, they got drunk. Having persevered with the rest of the program, they wonder why they fell. We think the reason is that they never completed their house cleaning. They took inventory all right, but hung on to some of the worst items in stock. They only thought they had lost their egoism and fear. They only thought they had humbled themselves, but they had not learned enough humility, fearlessness, and honesty. In the sense, we find it necessary until they told someone else all of their life story. And so they talk about the alcoholic leading this double life. I'm the actor, but I'm the director. And wherever I'm the director, I'm also a producer, and I'm a producer of confusion and chaos. And so that is the outcome of my life when I'm holding things back, when I'm not seeing the truth, when I'm in delusion. And this is the biggest roadblock, is this dishonesty. At some level, there's things that I can't even see. And that's why I need other people. That's why I need somebody else that understands this process of dying of self. And so when I get into this process, it actually leads me into, I think it's step 6 and 7, where it actually says, now that you're seeing your objectionable character, the exact nature of your wrongs, are you clinging or clutching onto anything? Are you clinging or clutching onto anything? And so are you willing to let that go? And so that is where I need to be honest. And so what are they actually talking about? This, we get led into seeing objectionable character. And so for me, what I see is this list of behaviors. And I'm like, when I see behaviors, I can actually work on them. I can be like, I'm very selfish when it comes to, getting attention. I come into a room and I'm like, I got to talk about everything. I got to talk about me. And so I'm going to try not to do that more. The trick is what we're trying to look at is not the behaviors, because behaviors I can modify, but the nature behind the behavior, I have no power over. So it's basically like I have this whiteboard with all of this stuff written over top of it, and I'm trying to change what it says by writing over top of it more. I don't have the ability to dry erase that. And only divine intervention can dry erase that. Only divine intervention can actually give me a vital experience that's going to displace all the writing that I have there already. And so that's God's job, is divine intervention to actually change our nature. But if I'm clinging onto something, there are a lot of times, how do I know that I'm clinging? Well, there's resistance. I have a resistance in me. I have like a little bit of sandpaper when somebody says something, when authority says something, when somebody speaks to me, I have resistance. And it doesn't mean God's not there, because I don't have the ability to block him. And so what I mean by that is, there's one of these promises, is that recovery offers you the stream of life, and I get to jump in the stream of life. And I can splash around like a little sea otter. I can like make little human hands and go, oh, I really like the water. It's so nice. Look at me. I'm a little human otter, and I'm doing little flips and somersaults. But the problem is, the issue is where there's resistance. The water is always going to be there. But when I put my foot down in the stream, and I put my other foot down in the stream, and I say, I got to go upstream for a bit, like I'll be right back. Look at God as the water. The water is always there and it's flowing, but my resistance in the bottom of the stream is causing dirt to come up. It's causing gravel to come up, and it's cloudy. So I do have the ability, through resistance and through dishonesty, is to actually cloud the water. And so it doesn't mean that God's gone anywhere. It means that I'm clouding the water and I don't have this contact with him. And so when I'm talking about nature, the exact nature is, it's not a list of behaviors. It's actually the nature of who I am. And at the bottom of my nature is, I'm the manager. I'm the one that's managing my life. And so this is what I believe that I can be dishonest about, is that there's parts of me that I'm still managing, that I'm still in control, that I'm still balancing, that I'm still looking for the outcome, that I still have expectations to, that I'm still, this is what the core of dishonesty is that I haven't fully abandoned everything to God. I'm still want to use the stream to get comfort and relief, but I'm going my own way. And so I can still be in recovery going my own way, but how long is that going to last? It says, if we skip this vital step of honesty, we may not overcome drinking. And so there's a lot of guys that can stay sober for 2 weeks. I was one of those guys. I could stay sober 2 weeks easy. And I have this illusion that I'm doing all the right things. Or maybe you're somebody that can stay sober for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I've seen, especially in COVID, that when people are not being honest, and when the sun is shining brightly, so a crisis happens, it's going to reveal what's inside of me. And so just like the sun is going to reveal the inner properties of butter by melting it, and by clay by hardening it, a crisis is going to show you what's inside of you. And if I'm reliant on the outside being okay, and I'm getting ease and comfort from all of these things, then when I can't, there's going to be an implosion in here, and I typically go drink, or I go use, or whatever that first step problem is. And so this is what I'm clinging on to, is my nature, not behaviors, because I can actually do something. I can manage my behaviors. This is something that I need the dry erase marker to come out, the dry eraser to come out and clear the marker and change my nature. And so this is only by divine intervention. And I could truly say that the last 14 years of my life, I have been divinely inconvenienced against my will for 14 years. And it's like, I might not be perfect. And I still think like recovery doesn't take away the garbage, but it takes away the stink. And there's a big difference. Coming in with stinky garbage, repulsive. But this line of transmission that we have is like, I have garbage. Look at this. Like I react to fear. I'm so weak that I have to do an hour of meditation and prayer every morning. And here's my garbage pile, but it doesn't stink anymore. And that's only by divine intervention. That's only by the grace of God, that he can come and take away the stink of your garbage. So this is what I'm clinging on to, is my nature. The nature that says I can still manage my life. and even in recovery, we can be in the delusion and in dishonesty of going like, I've actually given that over to God, but I've given over these behaviors and I want God to change my behavior. I don't want him to change my nature, and I don't even really understand that. But the whole point of this is to be a mirror, to go, I have this nature that I can't do anything about. And now I have to be honest that I really want to get rid of it. Do I really want to get well? Do I really want to stay sober for the rest of my life? Do I really want to do I really want my whiteboard to be erased and these new principles set in my life? You know, am I really going to adhere to the principle of being maximum service to God? Am I really going to want to be under the principle, the rule of living the book, not knowing the book, like not being able to regurgitate the book, but actually living the book? And am I going to actually be wanting to practice, love and tolerance? And that's these principles that God's going to rewrite for you. This is the nature that he's going to give you. And this is what we cling on to, is we cling and clutch onto our nature. And so I looked up a story. Somebody had mentioned this story. I actually looked it up, and it's hilarious. It's in Africa. Monkeys can be very destructive. They're like, monkeys in Africa in some parts are kind of like our gophers or like our groundhogs. And so if you have like a plantation, or if you have like a vegetable garden or tree or orchard or whatever, these monkeys can be really destructive and take all the food and do some monkey business. And so they try to get rid of them. No one likes to shoot a monkey. Imagine we had a monkey problem. I would love a monkey problem in my backyard. Not in my house, but like, monkeys are super cute, and everybody kind of wants that monkey pet. We all see that guy, that busker. Remember the busker with the little monkey, and he drives a little bike and he hits the tambourine, and it's just like the cutest thing. But monkeys, they don't call them monkey business for nothing. And so they're very tenacious and they don't give up. And so what they've done is to catch the monkey, to be a service to them or to be a pet. What they've done is made a little coconut pile, and then they cut out a coconut and put treats in it. Monkey treats. I don't know what the monkey treats are. I don't know what they are, like maybe candies or whatever. And so they put these little monkey treats. They give the monkey some treats to begin with. They chuck them at them. And so they're like, I love this treat. And so they put a coconut with a tiny little hole, enough for a monkey hand to get in. And they put these treats at the bottom of the coconut. And what they've done is chain the coconut to a post. They chain the coconut to a post. Monkey treats in the coconut. The monkey's not gonna not go get the treats, just like you and me. We're gonna go get the treats. We've had a taste of the treats. Now we're gonna go get the pile. And so the monkey puts in his hand and he grabs the treat, but when he's got his hand clenched, he can't pull his hand out. Now, you would think that a monkey would be clever enough to go, I'm gonna get trapped here and there's people coming towards me. I'm gonna drop the treats, get my hand out and run, because I'm faster than the people that are coming to get me. No, the monkey just tries to get his hand out more. He's focused on the hand. He's clutching onto these treats that is going to give him life and validation. He thinks that he can manage the show and he's not going to be caught. Isn't that an extreme example of our own reality? We're clutching onto something that we think that we're going to get life and validation from it, and we're not going to pull it out, even though that we see impending danger, impending doom, and we have people yelling at us going like, drop the candy, drop the candy. There's going to be more. You don't even need candy. Bad for your teeth. And you're like, no, they're all lying to me. And this is where we can be dishonest with ourselves. And this is what we're talking about, is being dishonest in our about our nature. Being dishonest that I can become the manager. I don't really want to give up that job because I don't really trust God. I'm not really, I say that I am, but I'm not. And so where do we see this is, what do we really have to be honest about? In page 63, the one cool thing is that one of the things that I always focused on was about surrender. And that we have to come to a place of surrender. I've totally changed my thinking around that. And I know that this could be word semantics, and I understand that we could go against it a little bit, But the big book never uses the word surrender. It uses the word abandon. Surrender suggests that I don't have any choices. Like, I have two choices. I either put my hands up and do what I'm being told, or I run away, or I fight, either one. But it's going to be a bad end. Whenever I was asked to surrender, there was a taser on the other end, or bear spray, mace. And so to me, that I have to come in surrendered. But what this program is asking is abandonment. And so on page 63, right after we do the third step prayer, so step one is really understanding what our problem is. We have no power of choice, and that we've been playing the manager, so I have no power and my life is unmanageable. And then in step two, it's actually asking us to believe that we can't do anything about this and we need God too. And I have to come to believe that. And then in step three, I actually walk through this doorway. I walk through this archway of abandoning my life, abandoning everything that I have built, that addiction has built, my past has built, my childhood has built, everything that I have, I utterly abandoned to him. It says, we thought well before taking this step, and we were sure that when we were sure that we're ready, we could at last abandon ourselves utterly to him. So this is what I need to be honest about. It's not so much about all the dumb crap that I've done, although you need to be honest about that. But it's about, am I honestly abandoning everything? Am I giving up the managerial spot? Am I giving up the director spot? Am I giving up am I not the employer and I'm the employee? So it's this abandoning the structure, the constraints of my ego. And so this is really what I have to walk away from and be honest that I'm not, I've seen it over and over and over again, where it's like, I'm coming into rehab and I'm a reno guy. I'm going to reno my life and get my life back on track. Whatever my life was supposed to be, I got off the rails. I got into addiction again and blah, blah. I just need to get my life back on track. I need to do a renovation, a heavy duty renovation, and we dump and we pour and people give us tools. But the reality is I'm not abandoning my life. I'm just surrendering to the fact that my life sucks right now and I need to get it back on track and I need to come under a renovation. And so this is when I'm surrendered, I'm actually making a renovation. I'm actually coming in going like, okay, this is horrible. Let's make a deal. Let's make a plea deal and let's renovate the structure that was there, and I'll just get back on track and I'll give back, like I'll do some good things. I'll make some good changes. But the reality is, what's going to happen 2 years down the road, or 5 years down the road, or 10 years down the road? I literally went to a meeting in Jersey Shore. I got to speak there once too. And I met Mr. Carpet Slippers, the guy that is in our book that says that I think he was sober. He had some drinking issues, had a business. Drinking was getting in the way. And so he put down the drink for 25 years. And then he retired, made some good money, had a family, and he put his feet up, put his slippers on, and was dead in 2 years. I met Mr. Carpet Slippers. It gave me goosebumps because this guy was sharing after I had shared. And he was saying like he was sober for 20 years. He had a business. He had everything. And then he started drinking again. His son-in-law offered him a beer. And he says, well, I had a problem back then. I don't have a problem now. And I want to fit in. And he drank a beer and he goes, my life it's never been so bad for this last year. And I was like, I just met Mr. Carpet Slippers. And that was the biggest thing I got out of this meeting, is that if I'm not abandoning everything I think I know about myself, if I'm not abandoning myself, the building, the constraints of my life, then maybe in 20 years I will drink again. And it was a great reminder of how honest I have to be on a daily basis. I think there can be like omission. I think there can be straight up lying. I think there can be this delusion. When I look at this honesty thing, like there's the real person that I'm dishonest with is myself. I'm trying to get physically better. And so the other day I go down to workout. I got 10 minutes into the workout. And my sponsor actually said, do you have time to talk? So I'm like, okay, I take that call. And so later on the day, me and my son were talking, and I said, "Oh man, I worked out, and I just got 15 minutes into my workout, and I took a call, and then I'm like, I didn't get 15 minutes in. I got 10 minutes in. Why am I saying 15? Because it sounds better in my head. There was some productivity to it. And so I do lie to myself, but where I'm in real dishonesty is if I don't do step 10 and 11, if I'm not staying in conscious contact with God and improving that on a daily basis, that's really what I can be dishonest about, because I'm only deceiving myself. And years down the road, when I'm sponsoring 10 people, 20 people, they're sponsoring people. I got the house, the car, the wife, the kids are doing great. And I'm dead inside because I'm not connected to the power. I'm not connected. I'm becoming the manager. And so I'm doing all of this stuff without being with God, without being connected. And this is what I believe that we're talking about: dishonesty. I believe that dishonesty is the biggest roadblock in recovery. And I think that this comes up for all of us on a daily basis, because we are given the option to rebuild our ego on a daily basis. And Jesus says, pick up your cross daily and die of self. This is what I need to abandon, is abandon myself. So we have directions to do this in the morning, throughout the day, and in the evening. And these are the spiritual practices that aren't about doing, but they're about being with God, improving my conscious contact with God. So dishonesty is the biggest roadblock. And that's why they say honesty is the best